Anyway, this is pastors who are coming to find out about our annual event. We've had Gary Chapman, we've had Kevin Lehman, we've had Mark Gungor, we've had Jay and Laura LaFoon, we've had Bill and Pam Farrell, Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti, and I'm confident you've heard of some of these folks, maybe all
Oh
of them.
yeah, yeah, I know most of those people.
There you go. And so we host a pastors luncheon every year to,
Okay.
there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, we try to make it free and to ask for their cooperation to get the message out. So we'll have a packet with some information about you and about the event and things of that nature. But I just want them to know who's Ron Deal. Let's start with that, and why should they care that you're coming to Farmington?
The reason I was asking is just because I know the actual event, we got to turn down the God talk, but if they're pastors, they're going to want to hear some of that. So,
and Ron, thank you for asking that, because the event, yeah, it's in a secular place, but most folks don't hide from who you are. I mean, it's not. I don't expect you to preach and take an offering, but don't hide from who you are. You don't have to worry about that.
okay.
So who's Ron Deal?
Well, I've been in ministry my entire life, and I work currently for Family Life here, based in Little Rock. Family Life is an international ministry. Started it by Dennis and Barbara Rainey close to 38 years ago, I believe. And we do marriage and family equipping ministry all over the world, especially in North America. And one of the biggest emphasis we have is equipping churches and church leaders to minister to couples and families. So we produce curriculum resources, video-based resources, online resources, smartphone resources, all based to help couples and families and parents.
Wow.
In the first 20 years of my life, I was in ministry, in full-time ministry in local churches. So I was on staff at churches in Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma as I worked my way through college, California, and then Arkansas for 11 years. And then kind of moved into my own full-time speaking and writing and family ministry, consulting ministry, which I did for about 6 years before Family Life called me and said, hey, why don't you come do what you do and do it for us, and we'll partner and try to reach the world. So that's how I ended up here.
And I'm sorry, forgive my brain fade. You got with Family Life when? Fairly recently, I know.
But 2 years ago this month,
okay.
as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Cool. And your ministry was As For Me and My House, I believe. Have I got that right?
That's right, and that still exists. It's still out there. You can go to rondeal.org and find information about the different things that ministry is involved in. Essentially, doing events like this is the heart of that ministry at this point. Everything else I do in cooperation with Family Life.
Okay. So how'd you get a burden for marriage, Ron? Especially for blended marriages.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I just have a passion for families. I got started as a youth minister, went to undergraduate degree emphasis in youth ministry. And any good youth minister will tell you in a hurry, you figure out that you're working with symptoms, right? Kids, teenagers in particular, are just symptoms of what's going on in their family system.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated with trying to intervene in their lives and in their faith walk, and then realizing that they would go home and I had very little impact over what happened there. So I went back to school, got a master's in marriage and family therapy, but that degree was housed in the School of Theology, and it really taught me how to think about family in light of the church and in light of what Christ has called us to. And so when I went back into ministry, I went into family ministry. I was working with couples and parents and families of all shapes and sizes, and it was in the process of doing that I discovered single parent ministry and step family ministry. And we kind of figured out a few things as it related to blended families, and a decade later it became my life. It became the thing that I write about the most and spend most of my time thinking about. But that is still very much in the context of marriage and the family. So I love doing marriage enrichment training, and I love working with blended families.
Cool. So you're coming to our area Saturday, the 15th of March. We hope to have some good weather for you. We usually do.
I hope so. And well, 2/3 of step family couples divorce. So if, not all step families are born out of divorce. Most of them are. Some of them are born after the death of a spouse.
Right.
But for those that have divorce in their story, who wants another one? And what's the impact emotionally, psychologically, and I always contend spiritually on children, not just witnessing one divorce, but multiple divorces? Well, we know the answer to the question. The answer, Ron, is that those kids drift from the Lord. They marginalize from church life. They become less confident in what truth is because they got a dad's truth, a mom's truth, and now my stepdad's truth, my stepmom. And all of that chaos just erodes, God and spirituality in their life. And the bottom line here is stepfamilies have specific needs. We give them stepfamily answers to stepfamily questions to try to prevent divorce and really redeem the next generation. That's the objective there.
Yeah, and when you say 40% in the culture, I wonder if it's higher, lower in the church, or probably about the same.
We really don't know. Nobody's done the research.
Okay.
I guess, my guesstimate is that it's a little bit lower. It depends on where you live. I was talking with a couple today that are on the West Coast, and they're estimating 50% of their church membership can feel a stepfamily in their life. It's either they have a step parent, they may be 35, but they got a stepmom, right?
Yeah.
Or they have a stepchild, or they have a step sibling. It's very, very close to a lot of people. So the statistics vary, but somewhere around a third is probably a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question that the clergy might be knowing. We're a non-denominational, our Four Corners Coalition for Marriage and Family, we're a 501c3.
Yeah.
But we reach out to all sorts of folks. Do you come from a particular bent or a particular denominational?
I don't. I'm non-denominational myself.
Okay.
Family life as an entity is non-denominational. And I certainly, with 26 years of ministry experience consulting in all different churches of shapes and sizes and brands and flavors, I understand and have a great respect for the differences between denominations. What I'm going to do is talk to the things that we have in common. I don't think, I've never had a pastor say, man, Ron, you blew it. That didn't fit with our worldview or our theology at all. Okay. I've never had that happen. Okay. And so I'm going to work really hard to respect those lines and just speak to things that the pastors there are going to feel really good about.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's close with this then. You're talking to clergy. Why should they support this event? Why should they get behind us and encourage their people to attend? Give me a sales pitch for a minute or two.
Well, that's easy because when you guys go home at night, you know how important family is. If you're single, you live in the context of a family, right? You have parents, you have siblings, you have cousins, aunts, uncles, you have nieces and nephews. If you're married, you've got kids of your own and you're in the throes of child rearing, you know what those challenges are and you know how important family is. And we all know that family is a place where we come to understand the heart of God, experience that first in the home, then that gets transferred into our walk and our relationship with Him. So what we're trying to do is strengthen homes, prevent divorce and breakdown and chaos, but have covenant keepers who then are people who are empowered to love as Christ would have them to love, who are members of your body, who are then beams of light in a dark world, advancing the kingdom agenda that is yours and your churches and God's kingdom agenda. And so ultimately that's what this is about. So I hope to meet you. Would love to have you there.
I'm looking forward to myself, Ron. Let me close on this, something I know you'll agree with, and maybe you can even tell me who said this, but somebody once said if the devil wants to destroy the country, he's going to start by trying to destroy the church, and if he wants to destroy the church, he's going to start by trying to destroy the family. Is that in your recollection? You've heard that before? Or?
I have heard that, but I can't tell you who said it.
Okay.
But it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. So anything we do to strengthen the family is to strengthen the church ultimately.
And that's why you're coming, my friend, on Saturday, March 15th. We're so looking forward to it. Ron, thank you for this time. And on behalf of the clergy, here's your round of applause. Hey,
it's great getting applause before I speak. I just wanted some applause after. All right.
There you go. We'll work on that as well. So, hey, we'll be in touch, I'm sure. And as the day goes closer, we're getting more and more excited. Ron, thanks so much, and bless you for what you're doing.
Thank you. God bless.
You bet. Bye-bye.